what's up? This is Kevin from CGR Undertow, and you know, there's two kinds of people in this world. There's front loaders and there's top loaders. Maybe that was, there's two types of Nintendo consoles in this world. Yeah, I think that might be it. This is the top-loading NES. Oh man, ain't that a beaut? Well, this is the NES-101, released in 1993, not too long after the Super Nintendo came out. So it was kind of a lower cost alternative if you had to get your Nintendo on. You can definitely see some design similarities to the Super Nintendo, especially the Super Nintendo Mini, as far as some of the curved lines go. But yeah, definitely a sleek looking, a little bit more futuristic than the old school Nintendo. But the main feature they added here was the top loading. So as you can see, there's your pin connector there. So you didn't have to have that big tray to push up and down and eventually break and collect all that dust. So this is definitely more likely to get your games working. So you won't have blinking screens whenever you put in a cartridge anymore. Although that doesn't mean this thing's perfect. Now it's just like a blank red screen or blue screen or something, but at least it's not blinking. Now let's look at the back here too. You do have less options as far as your video output goes. Now you're limited to only the RF out. So there's no composite video out on this particular model. Which, you know, if you're thinking of getting these, that might be something to consider, you know, depending on how you've got your stuff set up. But yeah, you'll have to use the RF modulator. But otherwise, it still is, there's the AC adapter port, a little switch, channel 3 or 4. I remember back when that was actually important. Not so much anymore. But yeah, that is unfortunate that it doesn't have composite out. But that's really one of the only downsides that I see with this console. And let's look up front here. You've got your two controller ports, and your buttons are definitely different. So that's the power button that turns on, and the reset button pushes in. There isn't an LED light to indicate that it's on anymore, which is a little bit of a bummer, as it's easy to forget to turn something off, or you know, if you leave it on because you don't want to stop your game, and then you might forget about it for 3 weeks. But hey, that might be good. You come back 3 weeks later and you can still play some bad dudes. So this shot here gives you a good idea of what the footprint of the top loader looks like. It's definitely yeah, a bit smaller than the NES. Along the side, you can definitely big size difference there, especially if you look at the width. So if space on your console shelves is a premium, definitely check out the 101. It'll save you a lot of space. So all in all, I definitely recommend the NES 101. They're very solid. They work pretty consistently. Maybe the downside is if you can find one, you might have to pay quite a bit of money for it. So they had a pretty limited production run, and I think most people that have one are hanging on to them. But you might get lucky on eBay or something. But otherwise, yeah, definitely recommend this. And also, it's worth checking out had a special controller design for it as well. So check out my separate review of the NES dog bone. But yeah, this thing's kind of interesting. But yeah, you'll have to watch the other video to hear my thoughts on that. But meanwhile, man, I'm gonna play some Dino Wars.